Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have a 1v1 on Samoski Winter. Yes, again, Samoski Winter. This is game 2 between Devem and Korean Army from the Sunday Night Fights Season 5 tournament, Qualifier 3, round of 16. So, we already talked about our players, but it was different factions, I suppose. Devem was 22 on the Germans. He's currently, at the time of casting this, 23 for Soviets. So, pretty even all around. And like I said, Korean Army is not a 1v1 player for the most part. If I check his stats, he's only played 16 as Germans and 13 as Soviets. So yeah, he plays team games for the most part. And he's okay, he's top 100 in that. His Soviet play was the strongest. His German, he's 68 in 2v2s. So, not as amazing, but still pretty good. Hell, I'd like to be that rank. But yeah, we actually saw him put up a pretty good fight against Devem, but, well, Devem just manhandled him in the end and triple capped him to death. So yeah, let's take a look at the game itself and see what has been happening. So, no engagements so far. We wouldn't expect really any engagements at this point, although we are going to see some combat engineers run into some Pyos apparently. Although the combat engineers, well, now they decide to move through here, although it looks like they're going to that other option. But anyways, Devem went for no additional tech, going conscripts, so the usual for Soviets. And Korean Army got himself tier 1 and Grenadiers, so pretty much the same that happened last game, just the other way around, because, each player has to play at least once with the other race. So, conscripts move up and jump into the fuel point, and Molotov lands. So very nice Molotov there for Devem, getting 3 conscripts into Molotovs. And a second conscript squad is moving in to support this fight. The combat engineers are also nearby and could help, but there is a Grand Squad running into the combat engineers. The combat engineers are backpedaling to the safety of their other squad mates. The Grenadiers decide to jump into the house. No, those are the Pyos, so another Molotov is probably going to land. So Devem using all his forces to make this engagement go in his way. So that is 2 Grens and 1 Pyo against 3 conscript squads and a combat engineer. So numbers winning out in this situation for Devem. Conscripts, and combat engineers against the Grens over here on the right-hand side. The Pyos in the house getting burned alive by that Molotov. Down to 2 men, forced to retreat. So there goes the first squad. Conscripts continue to push forward. 1 conscript squad now down to 4 men, but it's the one on the back lines. So you can see here his experience from Vanilla Company Heroes. You can see it right here. You don't see a lot of players doing these types of engagements, and there we go, outnumbering his opponent in every aspect and forcing the retreat of all the squads. Only 1 Grand Squad left on the field for Korean Army. Jumps it into the house just to have some, defensive buffs. And, well, Devem is just simply moving along his way. He captured the point. He's now using the conscripts capture here. Other conscript squad capturing the victory point. They're going to move over to the munitions point while the other conscript squad moves up to capture over here. They are going to engage those Grens, however. And the 4-man conscript squad just retreats to get some reinforcements. And we now have a 5th conscript squad coming out to the 5th Grenadier squad for Korean Army. So evenly matched, 1-on-1 for every unit. Molotov landing in the house, forcing those Grens to retreat, instantly killing 2 of those Grens. Very nice crit there for Devem. That is the power of the RNG gods. And 2 conscript squads pushing forward. Combat engineers as well is being used, and these conscript squad at 4 men will jump into the house, and all 4 will fire from these windows. So the Grenadiers are forced to backpedal. Conscript squad pushes forward, and this is going to be essentially a pin for Devem. He doesn't have an MG to do it, but with the sheer amount of conscripts in his in his side, Korean Army has a very tough time. So this is magnificent. I gotta stop gushing over just over a player, but Devem is pretty amazing. This is a pleasure to watch and cast. So conscripts splitting up. Grenadier squad poking a hole through the lines, but they're now a little bit cut off. They notice that and are going to move to intercept the conscript squad. Second conscript squad moving in for support. Molotov landing on the Gren squad in the north. Gren squad forced to retreat because it stood a little bit too long in that fire, and they were in heavy snow. Conscripts now down to 4 men each, but the Grens are now outnumbering them, or well, matching their numbers. 3rd conscript squad moves into for support. 3rd Grenadier squad moves into support, so very nice micro by both players. Conscripts trying to hold the line as much as they can. More Molotovs are probably going to be tossed. There is a perfect Molotov there for these Grens. There goes a Molotov and lands in between both of them, forcing them to split up. One of the Grenadiers goes down. Conscript Squad down to 2 men, forced to retreat, and with the rest of the conscripts in between, they will make it out. There's another Conscript Squad moving in to support the engagement, so non-stop aggression here by Devim. There's another Grenadier Squad coming in for Korean Army, so he doesn't want to, you know, concede any of these fights. Conscripts continue to push forward. Heavy cover now acquired by the Grens. The Gren Squad are now on the wrong side of the cover, forced to retreat down to 2 men. Molotov landing on this other Gren Squad. One of the men is taking quite a bit of damage, falls down on the fire, and the Conscript Squad at 1 man in the retreat. Very, very nice here by Devim. He waits almost until the last moment on his Conscript Squad to retreat. Very risky, but has been paying out so far in these engagements. Another Molotov landing over here, catches 1 more Grenadier. Grenadier down to 3 men against the 6 men of this Conscript Squad. The other Conscript Squad at 4 men. Can he throw another Molotov? He can. Is he going to? No, the Gren Squad decides to retreat, and a full rout out of the field for Korean Army. Wow, that was amazing. Conscript Squad at 4 decides to retreat. The other one still at 6 stays on the field and will move on forward to engage. Right hand side of the map, really nothing happening. Pyro's just capturing as much as they can. And we now have tier 2 going down for Devim, as well as no, nothing actually for Korean Army. He hasn't managed to have enough resources to get anything. Interesting. Conscript Squad pushes forward, runs into the 3 Grand Squads that are coming out of the field. They URA to get out of the way, and we still have that 4-man Conscript Squad hold up in this house in front of the base. All 4 can shoot from these windows, so it allows them to output the same amount of damage even if they were 6. But obviously they're weaker as far as armor and health value goes. One Conscript did end up dying while it was retreating. There he goes, he's down there. But still holding 5 men over on the right-hand side. And we see the Conscript Squad starting to trickle out of the base. Tier 2 up, nothing out of Tier 2 just yet. And we have 2 piles on the field for Korean Army, with which he built Tier 2. Conscripts on the left-hand side actually force away the piles, and we now finally see Korean Army managing to push into the center. Conscript Squad moving over to the fuel point. We still have that 5-man Conscript Squad holding position over on the right-hand flank. And a Conscript Squad reinforced moves into the center. Probably going to move into the cover here. No, they're actually going to move into Molotov the Church and try to dislodge those Grens. And here we go. So getting a little bit of a cutoff here on this Grenadier Squad. Molotov lands, so the Gren Squad is now cut off from the rest of his forces. Conscripts are taking quite a beating though to those Grens. Those are 4 Gren Squads firing upon 2 Conscript Squads. These Conscript Squads are traversing the open field, taking quite a bit of damage, getting into heavy cover, but almost point-blank range, which means the cover isn't as effective. Down to 1 man on the retreat. Can he make it out alive versus all those rifles firing at him? It looks like he might, but there is a Gren Squad on that house. Volley fires from that house, but barely makes it out alive. Can he make it out? No! Sniped by one of the Grens from the house. Very nice marksman there, and a little bit of a loss there for Devim. So Devim going for Tier 3, so Tier 2, Tier 3, wanting to have that anti-tank capabilities. Nice rifle nade here by Korean Army, utilizing now his munitions. Forcing away a 2-man Conscript Squad. Can he make it through all the rifles that are shooting at him? It looks like he can. Conscript Squad moves in to engage this house Grand Squad, allowing this 2-man squad at very low health to make it out. Do we have medics back at base for Devim? We do, actually, so those conscripts will get healed up. But now that T-70 is getting produced and will allow him to swing it back in his favor. Pack-gun, however, is getting produced for Korean Army from his Tier 2, so he is anticipating some type of vehicle play, so very nice. But yeah, wow, these engagements have been pretty well. And you can see the experience that he's had, like managing rifles with the conscripts and now getting PPSHs. That's going to be quite similar, so it's very nice. Rifle nade goes off on the conscripts, hitting them as they pass, killing 2 of them. And the PPSHs do finally get upgraded. Molotov landing where the Grens were, but the Grens backpedal and get out of the range of the fire, although one of them does die. But it looks like it died to the small arm fires of the PPSHs. And the second Gren Squad moves into support. These conscripts will have to retreat, and there they go, full retreat. Better T2 acquired, meaning more accuracy, and the T-70 is now on the field. T-70 is going to go straight into the field and try to hunt down something. No, the Grens full retreat. Grens in the house taking some damage. Down goes one of the Grens in the first shot, and more shots starting to land. Gren Squad gonna run straight into the T-70. They are gonna throw a Faust. There goes the fouls. The T-70 got a little bit too close, and the trade goes off. Molotov landing in the house, down to 2 men, down to 1 man, forced to retreat in through the path of the conscript. The conscripts could finish it off. Very healthy 1 man for that Grenadier squad, however, and barely makes that out alive. T-70 backs off, conscripts push forward. We do have a doctrine selected for Devim. I never mentioned it, and that is the Guard Rifle Combined Arms Tactics. That's why he has PPS Aegis. But yeah, I never actually mentioned it, so sorry about that. And the conscripts push into the center to get to the victory point. T-70 backs off into the strategic point. Can't actually capture the point. He needs Veteran C1 to get that. And there is a combat engineer moving towards it to get the repairs off. PPS Aegis up north, force away the Pios, and the pack gun moves through the snow, or ice that is, aiming towards where the T-70 is, but, well, nothing just yet that Korean army can kill it with. He does have enough fuel to get himself a, well, actually no, never mind. I mean, he has enough fuel to cover the cost of a Panzer IV, but he doesn't have Tier 3 up, so he doesn't actually have enough. To get himself a scout car, the 222, well, 221 and upgrading to 222, but it is a very risky maneuver because the T-70 could also kill it off. So T-70 now fully repaired, moves into the center, and it's going to start engaging the Grenadiers. Nice shot, kills one of the Grants. Pack-on sets up, we'll take a shot off at the T-70. There he goes, but misses on the first shot, and the Grand is forced to retreat. Second Grand Squad backpedals at 2 men, and another Grand Squad is there for support. So the conscripts need to move in and start supporting. There's a conscript squad coming in for a flank. Another conscript squad over on the far right, capturing the victory point. And we have another squad back at base. So 2 squads will push into the center. This one does not have PPS Aegis yet. It is currently upgrading them, and they will pop as soon as this engagement comes to a... well, I don't know. As soon as the engagement starts, there it goes. PPS Aegis getting equipped. The conscripts push past the fence, jump over the wall, and we have a full surround here. Another conscript squad did actually get produced for Devim, so he replaced his lost one. And these Grenadiers are now surrounded. T-70 nails one of them down to 2 men on the retreat. Can they get past these infantry squads? Probably down to 1 man on the retreat, but will barely make it out alive. Pack-on sets up and takes some shots at the conscripts as they shoot, but they don't really take much damage to the pack-gun. And, well, Korean army's pretty much holding his base. He only has 1 point aside from his base sector. Pios running past the combat engineers. The combat engineers jump into the house to get a little bit more of an advantage, but they barely make it out. And the T-70 moves to the right-hand side and is harassing the Grenadiers as they are shooting his conscript squad down to 2 men on that conscript squad. Barely makes it out alive. Grenadiers, Pioneers over here on this side of the map, getting engaged by the PPS Aegis and the T-70. The T-70 taking quite a bit of damage. Pack gun turns around and takes a shot in this direction, but misses apparently. And the PPS Aegis are pushing forward. Pretty much a pin or clamp right now going down. Clamp maneuver by the conscripts. These guys are getting a little bit of a rough engagement against 2, but there is a Maxim machine gun that is now in the house. It'll start shooting at these Grenadier squads, forcing them to retreat. The pack gun is also forced to retreat. Molotov landing where the pack gun once was, but it did get out of the way quite handily. Another Molotov landing on a retreating squad. Misses it completely. But Devim has enough munitions to afford that, so he doesn't really mind. So the pack-gun is forced to back off. The T-70 is still on the field, being quite aggressive. And a T-34 is now on the field for Devim, which means that this is going to be a good game. So any type of armor or vehicle that comes out for Korean Army will instantly get, well, not countered, but matched by the T-34. And another T-34 could get produced very quickly. Or actually right now if you wanted to. So Pios forced to retreat. They're going to have to retreat through the path of a combat engineer. The combat engineer will not be able to do much damage. They're just simply moving around the cap. And the front of the base, we see the pack-gun opening up, T-70 opening up as well as at the advancing Grants. The pack-gun turns around, aims at the T-70, nails it on the side armor, gets Veteran C1 in the process, and backs off out of the range of the pack-gun, and actually pops its own crew repair. Very nice use of crew repair there by Devim. He doesn't have any combat engineers nearby to make the repairs, so very nice. Maxim machine gun in the house, continues to shoot at the Grants as they approach, doing quite a bit of damage. And a Molotov landing right on top of the pack-gun. Can he clear out the pack-gun with that damage? No, it looks like they're going to make it out alive. Taking quite a bit of hell damage, but they are just fine. Conscripts forced to retreat at 2 men. 4-man squad still holding the line. The Grants are getting suppressed by the Maxim machine gun. So these Grants are going to take quite a beating. The other Grant squad, however, is in heavy cover, so it will take a lot of punishment. And the T-70 did get repaired at about 90% health. Now moving over to the right-hand side and going to harass these Grens that are capturing point and can capture the point himself. So this T-70 now gets a lot of utility. So the Gren squad instantly retreats in the face of the T-70. And I think the T-70, well, it actually hits its crew repairs, so it means it's going to continue to repair. T-34 forces away a Pio squad up in the north, and the combat engineers just simply move around and continue capping. Second T-34 getting produced for DevM, so yeah, he's going for that armored punch, and the conscripts just getting reinforced, heading back onto the field.
Conscripts here.
This is the brand new conscript squad. It only has 2 kills and no veterancy. And the pack gun moves over to the right-hand side, trying to get some shots off on the T-70. T-70 is in range of the pack gun, but the pack gun can't see it. So the conscripts just continue to move around. The conscripts over here on the left-hand side moving in to support. But this pack gun is currently supported by 2 Gren squads and a Pio. The T-70 is sitting there in range. It now actually takes a shot, makes itself known to the pack gun, and the pack gun shoots it in return. Down to about half health. The T-70 needs to get the hell out of the way. Second shot goes down to a sliver of health. That T-70 might go down. Is he going to move or get shot? The pack gun did get forced off of the map, or backpedaling. And the conscript's now down to 1 man. Very low in health. Can the Grenadiers finish it off? He's running through the heavy snow. Very critical seconds there, but is apparently going to make it out alive. Conscript squad and T-34 move into support. The T-34 will take quite a beating. The T-70 taking some shots at the infantry as they approach, but is now repaired to about 25% health with the ability. And the conscripts over here hold up in the house to get a little bit more defensive buffs. Grenadiers forced away. DevM once again triple capping Korean Army. He's now down to 180 points, so we might see another victory point win here. T-34 moves into the base, clears out a, what is that? A mortar that got produced for Korean Army, and the pack gun is getting circle strafed by the T-34. The T-34 gets caught a little bit in the ice, but manages to get behind the pack gun. The pack gun getting shot from the T-34, tries to back off, but still the T-34 just circle strafes it, gets a kill, and probably going to aim at the gun and finish it off. Second T-34 moves into support, it's going to start shooting the base. There goes the pack gun, very nice there by DevM. Another pack gun getting produced, so those T-34s will take some damage, and the Grenadiers and infantry forces are just moving around in unison in the base. I mean, I don't think there's much else that Korean Army can do. He has a Pio sneaking behind enemy lines, going for the victory point to slow down the cap, but the T-34 is just going to start wrecking his base, opening it up for everything to move in. Even the T-70 is moving into the mix. He has about 25 to 30% health, but yeah. Pack gun gets called in. Now on the field, we'll stop around there and start taking some shots at the T-34s. There we go. The first shot goes off. Nails one of the T-34. T-34 backs off, and the pack gun nails it once again in the frontal armor. Second bunker is going to be going down before the pack gun can push away the infantry, which means the front of Korean Army's base is fully exposed. Faust goes off on the T-34. The T-34 is now behind the base, and we see the base sector getting repaired by the Pios. The Pios now getting slaughtered by the T-34, and they're also getting run down. Another Faust goes off on the T-34. The T-34 gets behind the pack gun while the T-70 moves in from the flank. T-70 very good at the crewing pack guns, and that is it. Korean Army throws in the towel, says, yeah, you won. Okay, that's it. I don't really want to deal with this anymore, and calls it quits. Did have a small engagement over here on the right-hand side, but yeah, I mean, that was game essentially. So very, very nicely played by DevM. He moves on to the next round, and that would be it for Korean Army. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, once again, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.